here to help your children spread their wings and fly through life. Welcome to Modern Successful Parenting. Today we're talking about 4-year-olds and what 4-year-olds are all about, their development, and learning about what are the sorts of things that we can do to help them with their development. Now, 4-year-olds are curious, they're investigating everything, they're so active, they love conversing with people, they do dress-ups, they love playing with dolls, they have an excellent imagination. They even love doing role-playing games, and role-playing is really important in their development, in their understanding of what's happening around them. They learn through experience, and it's really important that we give 4-year-olds the opportunity to learn from all sorts of different areas. They can start playing board games like snakes and ladders. They need to learn about their emotions. They have a sense of humour, and their personality is really starting. Now, when we talk about the children's development, we're talking about not just their physical development, but their emotional development. They talk about the ferocious 4s and how they can get so frustrated and so angry, and they can lash out, and a lot of that is all about how they're coping emotionally. We're also looking at their intellectual development and their spiritual development. These children have a love of life, they love nature, they are learning about all the different aspects of their life. Now, as they're learning, they learn through looking at what's happening around them, and that repetition, doing things again and again and again. I'm sure you've had the situation where they've asked for the same book to be read again and again. They want it today, and they want it tomorrow, and they want it the next day. It's their favourite book, and they just want it read again. Maybe your children are allowed to watch movies, and they want to watch the same movie again and again. So that repetition are the key points as far as them understanding what's happening in their life and learning about what's happening in their environment. Now, children learn in 3 basic ways. Now, there are lots of other ways that they learn, but these are the 3 basic ways that they learn. By doing, by physically doing things, by listening, and by seeing. So some children first of all have to have it explained to them, and then they can start to try. Some of them have to see you do it, and then they try. And some of them have to actually just get in and physically try it themselves. Now, we all learn through all these aspects, but sometimes children have a preference as to how they learn first. Today we're going to look at 3 different areas: their gross motor, their fine motor, and their language development. So it's important that we understand the difference between all of these. Gross motor is the ability of children to be able to move the big muscles in their bodies. So we're talking their arms, their legs, their bodies, running, jumping, skipping, those sorts of skills with their gross motor. So let's go through in a little bit more detail as to what they need to be able to do. At 4 years of age, they should be able to be running around, turning corners, slipping and sliding, going really, really fast. They should be able to jump with 2 feet and hop on 1 foot. So hopscotch is something that they should be able to do. They should be able to skip. Now, skipping is step, hop, step, hop, step, hop. And if they can start to skip, that's a great skill for them to be able to do. They should be able to walk on a narrow line. So for instance, if you draw a line, pavement, whether it's a straight line or a curvy line, they should be able to follow that with their feet and walk along a narrow beam. Sometimes when kids go to gymnastics or go to some sort of kindy gym, they then get the opportunity to walk on narrow beams. But you can always do that at home if you get a piece of wood that's about 6 or 10 centimetres wide and just put it on the ground, and they can actually walk on it. You could make a whole obstacle course for the kids, and they would love that. You can get rope ladders and put them down, and the kids can jump through the rope ladders. They can hop. You can do 2 feet, 1 foot, 2 feet, 1 foot. They can jump outside and inside, and that really helps with their language development as well. They should be able to walk backwards. Now you might say that sounds really weird, but they need to be able to walk backwards, and they should be able to jump 10 times forward. Now you say, why 10 times? Well, 10 times just gives us an indication that they can actually jump that forward. They should be able to kick a ball, they should be able to climb, and really follow those 3-step instructions. So these are the things that we need to be able to give our children the opportunity to do. So make sure that you get them to stand on one foot or balance on one foot. I love doing Tai Chi with the kids in the morning, and on YouTube they've got quite a few different beginner Tai Chi things, and they look really tricky initially, but if you do them every morning, it's amazing how capable these children are. At 4 years of age, they are very capable to do all sorts of these physical activities. Take them out to the playground and get them to muck around on the playground for an hour. It does so much for their balance. It's great for their muscle development, and it really helps them with these skills that we know that they really need to be able to do. The other thing that's really important is that they need to be able to hang off a beam. Now that means that they need their fingers under the rod and their thumbs under the rod and their fingers on top of the rod. They need to be able to hang there for at least 5 seconds. Now, at this age, if you can get them to go across monkey bars and they're using opposite hands, that is so helpful for their reading and writing. And you go, what? Well, what I've found and what so many educators have found is that if children are having trouble with their writing, you get them to go across monkey bars. You go, what on earth is that? But the monkey bars gives them the control and the grip that they need to be able to grip their pencil properly. So it really helps to build that muscle. So monkey bars are fantastic for kids to be able to go across the monkey bars in so many different aspects of writing and reading. Crossing the midline is really important for these kids, and they should definitely be able to do it at this time using alternative hands and alternative feet. So let's look at some of the fine motor skills that they need. At 4 years of age, children should be able to copy a basic shape. So a circle, a triangle, a square. They should be able to copy it and they should be able to draw it. Now, from when they were 2, they should have been able to do sort of a circle. Now it needs to be more defined, more in the shape of a circle. They should be able to draw people, their faces, even if they're not doing their arms and legs. Some of them have hands and fingers, but mostly it's just like a circle with a couple of eyes, a mouth, and then like a stick figure. They need to be able to start to write their letters at this age, and this is where you can help them to learn to write their letters correctly, and that is by showing them how the letter starts. Now there are heaps of books, handwriting books that you can get from news agencies, from Kmart, from Target. The most important thing that you can do to help your child is to teach them how to hold their pencil properly. Now, if you've been involved with us for a while, you'll know that I'm a stickler for this holding their pencil properly. Thumb goes on one side, pointer on the top, and this finger sits to support that pencil. Now the reason that we do this is that holding it like this gives you a lot more flexibility. If you hold your pencil like that, this becomes very tense, this muscle. See how hard it is? When I hold it like this, look how squishy it is. The same with the tension through this part of your wrist. So if you hold your pencil properly, you've got a lot more control, you've got a lot more flexibility of what you can do with your fingers. You're not having to move your hand and your arm, which is a gross motor movement. This is a fine motor movement. You have a lot more control, and you can do a lot more finer detail. Holding their pencil starts when they first pick up a pencil. When they first pick up a crayon, they'll be holding it like this. but you can actually start them to learn the correct way of holding it right from when they're holding crayons. They'll be able to show more detail in their drawing, and they'll have a preference for their right or their left. So it's important that you don't influence them with that. And whenever you give them a pencil, let me just get my pencil. Whenever you give them a pencil, give it to them right in the middle. So don't give it to their right hand or to their left hand. Give it right into the centre, and then they will grab it either with their right hand or with their left hand. They'll actually grab that pencil and then they will start to write. Now, crossing the midline, we've spoken about that before. That means putting their arm across their body. And they need to be able to do this to be able to write. So if your children are having trouble with crossing the midline, there's a whole heap of games you can play. You can point your opposite hand to your opposite foot while you're walking, and sometimes you just need to do this 3 or 4 times in a week, and do it every week for 4 or 5 weeks, and you'll be amazed at the difference in them when they're pointing to their opposite feet. Just do it as a fun game. Even crawling, making sure they're using opposite hand and opposite leg when they're balancing and they're crawling. These are all really important skills that your kids need to do, and if they're really struggling with being able to do these after you've helped them and you've had them doing it for a while, then that's the time to seek medical advice. Go to your medical professional, tell them what's happening with your child, and see if they think that they'll do an assessment, and if they think that you need to worry about something, or if it's all okay, it's just within the norm. So other things that they need to be able to do with their fine motor is actually get themselves dressed. They should be able to do their buttons up, they should be able to pull their pants up, they should be able to put their undies on the right way, they should be able to do all sorts of those different activities. They should be able to use a knife and a fork. It's important that children of this age are given the opportunity to do as much independent as possible. Get them to wipe their bottom and teach them how to do it. One of the best ways I've seen is you put 2 balloons strapped to their bottom, and then you can show them how to wipe it properly that way. And it's important that they do make sure that they're clean, because at this age they can cause rashes and things like that if they don't thoroughly clean themselves when they're wiping themselves. The same with showering, or bathing. They should be able to wash themselves and wipe themselves down, and it's important to teach them how to do and what parts of those, how to wash themselves and what parts need to be cleaned properly. Some of the things are thread a large needle with beads. Now you might think, threading, why do you need? It's the hand-eye coordination that you need for that. Just as when you're catching a ball, they should be able to catch small balls at this stage. They should be able to bounce big balls like a basketball. Some children of this age can actually play handball with a tennis ball type thing. It's amazing what these kids can do if you give them the opportunities. They should be able to cut out things quite successfully at this age, and they need to be able to be given the opportunity to use a knife and a fork. Obviously, cutting with scissors, using a knife and fork, they're all activities that need to be thoroughly supervised. If the children are starting to be silly, then you need to quickly take that implement off them and not give them the opportunity to do that again. And they will quickly learn that they need to be sensible with those sorts of tools that they're using. Some of the other things that I've seen little ones do, they're watching their dad or their mum do some woodwork or some activities around the house like cleaning or even painting, and the kids want to get involved. Let them get involved. Yes, you may have to redo things, but getting them involved at this age really helps their self-esteem. It gives them something to do. It keeps them occupied while you're having to do things. You just might need to change a little bit the way that they're doing things.
Thank you for watching Modern Successful Parenting. All advice and information given during this course is designed for general use only. If you have any concerns for your child, please seek professional advice as soon as possible. For terms and conditions, see website www.modernsuccessfulparenting.com.au. Thank you.